Hello, lovely people of Ghana, cherished viewers and listeners. I once again welcome you all to this wonderful, educative, and insightful program on your finest media network, UMSEEKA-TV. This program is named Titiwobika, which literally means history has a lot to tell. Our main goal and objective for instituting such a program is to educate people about the rich culture and history of Ghana. I introduce myself as Addison Daniel Prince, your regular host. Our discussion today is going to be super interesting since we will be touching on one of the most essential elements of the life of every individual, and that is naming. There is an adage in Akan that goes, "It is as a result of mischief, that is why names were given." Our discussion today shall be on naming or naming ceremony. We shall delve deep into the meaning of a name and the relevance of giving names to items, places, and people. Our main focus shall be centered on human naming, known in Akan as Dintuo or Abedintuo. We have our regular teacher, Nana Achempemhene, with us in the studio. Special regards to everyone, and more importantly, to our chiefs, queen mothers, paramount chiefs, and elders of the land watching this program. We cherish your effort for making time out of your tight and busy schedules to watch this program every day. May the Almighty bless you abundantly. Back on our discussion for the day. When we talk about naming ceremony or Abedintuo, we are literally referring to giving an identity to a human being or anything that makes it unique from other things. It is worth noting that everything in the universe created by the Supreme Being or Otwedi Kwame has a distinct name. The name it bears is what makes it easy for everyone to quickly identify or get to know the exact thing or object the moment it is being talked about. For instance, distinct names such as the neem tree, the mahogany tree, the wawa tree, and the likes makes it easy for one to know the exact or specific tree being talked about. The same applies to human beings. Since there are over 7 billion humans in the universe, it became very essential and wise that, in the wisdom of God and man, we give names to each and every person for easy identification and be able to differentiate one person and their deeds from the other. Naming is very important. That is why after creation, the Almighty permitted Adam, the first man, to instantly give names to all his creation. And Adam, through the wisdom of God, named all things in the world, including all plants and animals. And those are the names we are using up till date. Naming has become so paramount and crucial in our parts of the world, including Asia, America, Europe, and Africa. We are at this juncture going to critically and carefully analyze the things that brings about the naming of a person. How is it done? What processes are involved? And how the Akans value naming ceremony of a newly born child. Among the Akans, naming is done some few days, usually 7 days after a child is born. Due to this, before there will be a naming of a child, there is the need for two individuals, that is a male and a female, or a man and a woman, to agree to live their lives together as marriage couple, or better still, a husband and a wife. Marriage is what propels naming. This is so because until two people are married, it is against customs and traditions for them to have intimacy and not to even talk about childbearing. This juncture will usher us into marriage, and more importantly, how the Asantes or the Akans prepare themselves for marriage. Viewers should know that
We are not swerving from our main topic, that's naming ceremony. We are only touching a bit on marriage, which will eventually lead us into childbearing and consequently naming ceremony. Among the Asantehs, it is the man who marries. So right at the youthful age, a young man is supposed to be very hardworking in order that he can be able to provide for himself, save some money, and be able to make available some basic items that will be needed for marriage. Back in the olden days, farming and hunting were the major occupation of our people. So a young man who intends to marry should be equipped in one. He must either be serious with farming or skilled in hunting. Any young man who was lazy and could neither hunt or farm was not fit and ready to have a woman, because the responsibilities alone attached to marriage life was heavy enough to break him. So right from childhood, parents start training their children, especially in farming, hunting, and home management skills, in order to make them industrious and responsible adults in future. The young boy right at the tender age follows the father to the farm or hunting grounds and learn farming and hunting skills from him. The young man is also taught how to save money and resources for future use and how to manage the home. It is from the little savings of the man that he will pay the bride price and the dowry, as well as make available other basic items that are essential for marriage. After this, it becomes clear and well established that the young man is responsible and is well prepared to take a wife as well as manage the home. He therefore informed the parents, most importantly the father, about his plans to have a woman as a wife. The father will in turn find time and invite either the mother of the boy or any trusted relative. And together with the young man, they begin to discuss the issue on board and inquire from the young man whether he is really ready and prepared to handle a woman. They will then ask their son to bring out his portmanteau for them to have a quick glance of the items he has acquired so far, and also to confirm whether indeed what he has amassed or acquired so far will be enough for him to marry and live with a woman. It is worth noting that in the olden days, no young man or lady could marry without the knowledge or consent of their parents. It wasn't allowed, and such a thing will not hold. Marrying at the blind side of your parents was a taboo and practically unacceptable among the Asantehs. After going through the items the boy has acquired or the portmanteau, if they become satisfied with what he has acquired, then the way is now paved. But if it is otherwise, and the things he had acquired so far isn't enough for him to marry, the parents will then advise their son to give himself some time and work extra harder to be able to get enough before settling with a woman. Because the marriage journey is not a child's play. One must be fully prepared in order to face it. After all is said and done, the parents of the boy now begin to search for a lady from a family with good moral records, a family void of calamities, curses, and serious contagious diseases such as leprosy, epilepsy, and madness. It was dangerous to marry from a family with any of these track record. They are very cautious in selecting a spouse for their son. The Asantehs believe that a family with good morals and responsible members breed good offsprings. They wouldn't therefore entertain marrying from families with poor and evil records such as murderers, a cursed family, a family full of calamities, thieves, and from a lazy family. They believe children born out of such marriages mostly carry with them such evil traits and behaviors, since family and marriage are blood related. The search for a good wife from a good family commences, and parents usually prefer spouses within their immediate surroundings, and in some cases, a little beyond their neighborhood, but not too far. Parents always prefer their sons to marry from nearby families to long distance families. The reasons are simple. They wouldn't want to bear the pain and burden of traveling long distances to such far places in case of any future eventualities, occasions, or events such as funerals, marriage, naming ceremonies, and paying visits to relatives. Since there were no vehicles, planes, and phones at the time, and the only means of dispatching information was by walking, they never preferred walking such long distances, which could take them several weeks, days, and months. Due to this, they always wanted to marry within their neighborhood and a little beyond, but not too far as we see today. As already indicated, the search team focus their selection of spouse from families that uphold positive traits and qualities such as humility, respectfulness, and hardworking. A family void of curses and misfortunes. This is the type of lady and family everyone would want and would love to marry from. But what do we see nowadays? Of late, many young men and women have placed beauty, stature, and material things above all the other good qualities and traits that were cherished back in the days of old. And the adverse consequence is what we are facing or experiencing now. Most marriages collapse just some few days, weeks, or months after wedding. The fact is, no serious checks or investigations of family backgrounds are carried out. In most cases, the man and the lady even get pregnant and finish with their own arrangements even before their parents get to know of it. There are some who even tie the knot without parents knowing anything about it, and this is very bad and an abomination among the Asantes. The fact is, you just can't meet someone on the street, at the market, at a funeral, at a club, or at a party and propose marriage to him or her without doing any proper checks about the person. Marriages groomed in such careless and irresponsible manner mostly do not last long, and such couples end up regretting and cursing their stars for the rest of their lives. Back in the olden days, someone was tasked with the responsibility of doing all the underground works to conclude as to whether the family to be married from is a good one. And the boy's family depends heavily on the feedback of the undercover investigators in making a final decision. If it is concluded that the family is a good one and has no blemish, then the boy's parents will now make preparation and do a follow-up to request for the lady's hand in marriage for their son. Likewise, the girl's family will also carry out their own investigation about the boy's family too. They also would want to confirm if the family is a good one for their daughter to be married into. Remember that the Akans or Asantes have the strong belief that every family is blood bound, and as such, any trait or behavior, whether good or bad, is transferable through blood. They therefore do their investigations thoroughly in order not to commit any blunder of inviting or falling into any of such immoral or evil traits. That is why this stage in marriage preparation is very paramount and crucial. Also, among the Akan or Ashanti customs and tradition, there is the need for every young girl who has experienced her first menstruation and is ripe for marriage to undergo a customary rite known as puberty rites or bragro in the Ashanti language. Puberty is simply a rite that is performed for young girls to usher them from childhood into adulthood. Among the Asantes, puberty is performed when a young girl experiences her first menstruation, which we call menarche. During this rite, the young girl is taken through all that motherhood and womanhood is about. The girl is taught how to keep herself clean and take care of the home, her husband, and the children. She is further taken through some basics about marriage life. This is very important stage for the young girl because any moment from that time she could be requested for marriage. Parents are also very critical about their daughters at this stage and give them the best of training and advice. Girl isn't properly trained and enters into marriage, it could bring disgrace and shame, not only to the girl herself, but also to her parents as a whole. That is why parents pump a lot of effort in training their daughters for them to become good wives. Normally, on the day of the performance of the rites, the man's family move to the grounds to publicly declare to the gathering their intention to marry the girl and that they have consulted the family and have gone through all the necessary steps and customary duties as expected of them. It was an abomination and a serious taboo for a girl to get pregnant without first undergoing puberty rites. Such shameful act is known as chiribra in the Ashanti language. The taboo was so great that the penalty was banishment, and such a girl was expelled or banished from the village to live in the forest or anywhere outside the village. This act brings great shame to the girl herself and her family. Ladies and gentlemen, cherished viewers and listeners, we shall find time to touch on Bragro and Chiribra in the course of our discussion. Well, now all the necessary rites and underground checks have been carried out. The lady and the man are now living together as couples or husband and a wife. They have eventually brought forth a baby, and as custom demands, the child is supposed to be given a name. In our next episode, we shall delve deep into the process involved in naming of the child, the kinds of name normally chosen and why. We shall further probe into the relevance of child naming among the Akans, specifically the Asantes.
Because chibra, a kind form pet. So, young young brand son, wawa dear, now being sent, you be to a free room.
To this wonderful, educative, and insightful program on your finest media network, UMSEEKA-TV. This program is named Titiwobika, which literally means history has a lot to tell. Our main goal and objective for instituting such a program is to educate people about the rich culture and history of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be touching on one of the most essential elements of the life of every individual, and that is naming. There is an adage in Akan that goes, "It is as a result of mischief, that is why names were given." Hello, lovely people. Catch us same time next week on this insightful and culture-rich program on your number one media network, UMSEEKA-TV. Until same time next week, it's goodbye. Stay blessed.